Hi, hi students. This is P.V.C.K.SUBHASHINI, Senior Lecturer in Mechanical Engineering, Government Polytechnic, Hyderabad. In the last class, we have studied about the production management chapter. In that, we have discussed about what is production, what is planning and control, what is the relationship with other departments, need for planning, advantages, routing, scheduling, etc. Now today we are going to see about the routing and scheduling in detail, routing, scheduling and dispatching in detail. Before going into the actual class today, I just want to give a recap of what I have done in the last class, what I have told in the last class. First, the chapter name is production management. So, what is production management? Production management is a branch of management which is concerned with production activities. It is a science of decision making regarding production of goods and services at a minimum cost through management process. It is mainly associated with two activities, namely activities related to production system and activities related to analysis and control. So production management deals with decision making related to production process so that the resultant goods or services are produced according to the specifications in the amounts and by the schedules demanded and at a minimum cost. So this is about the production management. So before going into the relationship of department with other departments, we'll just see what is production. Already I have told in the last class, just I want to give a recap of that. Production is a transformation of raw materials into finished products. The department where the products are manufactured is known as production department. Next comes the production function. Production function is a basic function of an industrial enterprise around which other activities of the organization will revolve. Therefore, it is essential that production function must be managed effectively and efficiently so as to achieve the organizational goals. So, the main aim of every industrialist will be to produce better quality products with minimum cost of production and get maximum profits. So, for achieving this goal, it coordinates with different departments such as production planning, production control, purchase department, sales department, quality control and inspection department, maintenance, personnel, public relations, industrial engineering, and research and development departments. Now we'll just see what are those departments. Planning department coordinates the production department by considering future sale requirements. It determines the quantity of production, type of quality, and schedule of dates. Control department. Control department will assist for smooth functioning of men, machines, and materials and produce products of right quality at right time by using best and least expensive methods. Purchase department. Purchase department will assist in controlling the flow of incoming materials and maintains delivery schedules from right source, at right place, at right time, with right materials and assists in continuous production without break. Sales department. Sales department will make effective sales in time and project the goodwill of the firm to the customers and gets further orders which facilitates further production. Quality control. Quality control and inspection department helps in inspecting the purchased, in process and finished goods in every stage of production and maintains quality as per company's objectives and also helps in rejecting the produced faulty products at earlier stage to avoid time and further production. Maintenance department. Maintenance department will attend day-to-day problems of keeping the physical plant in good operating conditions. Personnel department will select the right type of people and impart training for efficient working in producing the products. Public relations department will assist in giving publicity of the product and of the firm and gains good reputation among the customers and improve sales, in turn increases production. Industrial engineering department will assist in making work study and develops new and improved methods of production, and thus it helps in reducing cost of production. Research and development department will assist in improving quality of products and developing new and sophisticated methods of manufacturing. And slowly we'll try to recap what are the types of production. There are three main types of production: job or unit production, mass or continuous production, batch or quantity production. Job production is the oldest method of production on a very small scale. With this method, individual requirements of the consumers can be met. Each job order stands alone and is not likely to be repeated. This type of production has a lot of flexibility of operation and hence general purpose machines are required. Factories adopting this type of production are generally small in size. The layout of such factories is made flexible so that maximum varieties of work can be easily and efficiently carried out with slight adjustments. Even in this stage of industrialization, many things are produced on unit production. This type of production is used for things which cannot be produced on large scale. Things of high artistic nature, requiring maximum attention, dye work and foundry work, etc. Man working in unit production gets an opportunity to produce large type of products, enhance his skills, and can become expert in a very short time. Advantages: it meets the individual taste and requirement, no managerial problems because of very less number of workers, and small size of concern. It requires less money and easy to start. Less risk of loss to the factory. Because of flexibility, there is no chance of failure of factory due to reduction of demand in particular field. Disadvantage: there is no scope of commercial economy in case of job production. As the purchase of raw material is less, the cost of raw materials per unit will be slightly more. For handling different types of jobs, only skilled and intelligent workers are needed. Thus, labor cost increases. Next comes the mass production or continuous production. This method of production is a large scale production and is continuous production. In this case, production cannot be held up for job orders. The layout used is generally for only one type of product. This type of production uses specially planned layout, specialized machines, and costly jigs and fixtures. Sequence of flow of the product during the manufacturing remains the same. In this type of production, different machines are assigned a different nature of work throughout the throughout the run of the plant. Only one type of product can be manufactured. To avoid this problem of material handling, conveyors of different types, cranes can be used. This production is used to those industries which are having continuous demand, high volume of production, and product standardization. Steel mills, automobiles, electricals, electronics, cycles, bolts, nuts and washers, bearings, tires, soaps, papers, etc. Advantages: it gives better quality and increased production, wastage is minimum, as raw materials are purchased on a large scale, and hence higher margin of profits can be made while purchasing them. Sales and advertising do not prove to be costly, as your expenses are spread over thousands of articles produced, hence cost per unit is low. Advantages: advantages of mass production. This production can be managed only with few skilled and rest unskilled workers, hence labor cost is reduced. What are the disadvantages? During the period of less demand, heavy losses on the invested capital may take place. As all the machines used are one purpose machines, this type of production cannot be used for other types of production. As the workers are repeatedly doing the same operation, they feel bored with the work after a certain period. It cannot fulfill the individual taste. It produces standardized products only. Next comes the batch production. This type of production is generally adopted in medium-sized enterprises. Batch production is bigger in scale than job production, while it is smaller than that of mass production. It requires more machines than of job production and less machines than that of mass production. So, as in the type of production, two or more products are manufactured in lots at regular intervals. Therefore, this is known as batch production. Most of the engineering concerns are adopting batch production. In this type of production, different products are manufactured and stocked and then sold on receipt of orders. The items generally made under batch production are cars, drugs, forging machines, LPG cylinders, lathe machines, presses, etc. While comparing with mass production, it requires less capital. If the demand for one product decreases, then production for another product may be increased. Thus, the risk of loss is very less. Comparing with job production, it is more advantageous commercially. Disadvantages: raw material to be purchased or in less quantity than that in mass production, hence the cost of the product is more. So these are the types of productions available. What are those productions? Job or unit production, mass or continuous production, batch or quantity production. Next comes the production planning and control. As we know that production requires organized utilization of natural resources, men, money, material, and machines. We also know that production is an organized activity of converting raw materials into usable products. But before starting that work of actual production, production planning is done in order to know the possible difficulties and decide in advance as to how the production should be carried out in a best and economic way. Since only planning of production is not sufficient, hence management takes all possible steps to see that plans made by planning department are properly implemented in achieving their targets. In order to achieve it, control over production is needed. The aim of production control is to produce the products of right quality, in right quantity, at the right time by using the best and least expensive methods. Now we'll see what is production planning and control. This all I have discussed in the last class. Just since they are very important topics, I just want to put more stress on these topics. Defined production planning and control can thus be defined as process of planning the production in advance, setting the exact route of each item, fixing the starting and finishing dates for each item, to give production orders to shops, and lastly to allow up the progress of products according to the orders. The principles of production planning and control lies in the statement first plan your work, then work your plan. What are the functions of production planning and control? To have good control over the production process and to achieve better results of production process, production planning and control implements the following functions. They are planning, routing, scheduling, dispatching, and follow. In the above functions, planning, routing, and scheduling are called planning functions. Dispatching and follow-up are called the production control. Now, we'll just see what is production planning. Before starting any work, it is necessary to plan the things properly for getting better results. Similarly, for production planning in advance is necessary, and if there is no planning, then how shall we control? It is the planning department which decides about each element of the job in anticipation that what work shall be done, where, how, and when it shall be done. Production planning can be defined as the means by which a manufacturing plan is determined, information issued for its execution, and data collected and recorded which will enable the plant to be controlled through all its stages. Planning should provide the information such as type of production, quantity, and quality of product to be produced, detailed machines, tools and equipment required, the manufacturing plan, requirements of raw materials, order priority, machine loading and scheduling, etc. Thus, production planning is the most powerful management tool on which entire production depends. Efficient planning leads to better achievement of company's targets. Now we'll just see what are the objectives of production planning. Again, I just want to tell these are all I have repeated in the previous class, just I'm discussing as a recap. The main objective of production planning is to schedule the operations of parts in correct sequence with reference to time and keep up delivery dates. To achieve this, it is necessary to determine the expected capacity of each work center, to allocate all the resources, men, machines, materials effectively, to provide the production materials at right time in right quality and right quantity, to coordinate all the departments so that the balance of activities are maintained, to handle any difficulties arising in the middle of the production targets, to maintain progress records, to show the actuals against the plan. If any deviation is found, take necessary action, to maintain accurate record of all material and component stock and its movements, updating the production process with new and innovative techniques. These are all the objectives of production planning. Next comes the need for planning, that is, advantages of planning. It helps in determining men, materials, machines, equipment for production on the basis of sales forecast. It determines when, where, and how the products are manufactured. Better service to customers in promised delivery dates, better control of raw materials, inventory, which contributes to more effective purchasing, more effective use of equipment, less loss of time by workers, awaiting for materials, future achievements can be identified, expenditure aspect in the production can also be visualized earlier. These are all the advantages of planning. What are the advantages? It helps in determining men, materials, machines, and equipment for production on the basis of sales forecast. It determines when, where, and how the products are manufactured. Better service to customers and promised delivery dates. Better control of raw materials inventory, which contributes to more effective purchasing. More effective use of equipment, less loss of time by workers awaiting for materials, future achievements can be identified, expenditure aspect in the production can also be visualized earlier. Now, today, we'll just try to see what is the importance. Last class, we have seen about what is important stages and functions of PPC. Now, today, we are going to see what we'll try to understand and I'll try to explain routing, scheduling, dispatching. Now we'll see what is routing. Name itself says selection of path which each part of the product will follow while being transformed from raw materials to finished products. Path of the product will also give sequence of operation to be adopted while being manufactured. What is routing? Routing may be defined as selection of path which each part of the product will follow while being transformed from raw materials to finished products. Path of the product will also give sequence of operation to be adopted while being manufactured. Routing may be defined as selection of path which each part of the product will follow while being transformed from raw materials into finished products. The path of the product will also give sequence of operation to be adopted while being manufactured. In other words, routing means determination of most advantageous path to be followed from department to department and machines to machines till raw material gets its final shape. Routing is a technique which involves the analysis of type of work to be done on product or its parts, operation required to do the work, sequence of operations required, where the work will be done, a proper classification about the personnel required and the machine for doing the work. So what this routing involves is routing is a technique which involves the analysis of type of work to be done on product or its parts, operation required to do the work, sequence of operations required, where the work will be done, a proper classification about personnel required, and the machine for doing the work. For effective control of a well-managed industry with standard conditions, the routing plays an important role so as to get the better results obtained from available plant capacity. Thus, routing provides the basis for scheduling, dispatching, and follow-up. Routing in mass production industries does not pose any problem because of the product type of layout, whereas all the machines are laid as per the sequence of operations required to be performed on the components. Whereas in batch production or job production industries, every time the job is new, therefore the route sheet is to be prepared for every job, and this involves a greater amount of work and future expenses. So what you have understand from routing? Routing selects the path raw material should follow while transforming into finished product, decides the sequence of operations. It is not difficult in continuous production. Routing is difficult in job order production. Is similar to railway map wherein the sequence of stations through which the train passes is indicated. Slowly we'll see what is the routing procedure. For a new product, the routing procedure is as follows. The product and its parts are analyzed first to determine the parts to be manufactured and the parts to be purchased. Make or buy decisions are made. First, what you do? The product and its parts are analyzed to determine the parts to be manufactured and the parts to be purchased. Make or buy decisions are made. Number two, the parts to be manufactured are analyzed to determine the type, specifications, quantity, and quality of materials required. The product is analyzed to determine possible methods of manufacture and selection of the best method. Manufacturing operations are determined with their sequence to produce the product. The economic lot size of production is determined. Scrap factor at each stage of production is determined. Cost of product is determined. Manufacturing forms like production order, job order, route sheets, move orders, inspection cards, tool kits, etc. are filled. See, what are the steps involved in routing procedure is the product which is going to manufactured is analyzed from manufacturing point of view. First, what they do, the product which is going to be manufactured is analyzed from manufacturing point of view. That is how many components can be made in the plant and how many other components will be purchased from outside. How many components can be made in the plant and how many other components will be purchased from outside. A part list and bill of material is prepared showing name of the part, quantity of material, specifications, etc. Required materials are procured. Required materials are procured. Next, depending upon machine capacities and the operations to be performed at each stage of manufacture are established. They are listed in a proper sequence on operation, card, and route sheet. Determine the batch quantity or number of components to be manufactured in one lot or batch. Lot size generally depends upon the production targets for the particular financial year. Hope you have understood the routing procedure. Next comes the rejection of components for each batch is recorded and necessary steps will be taken to minimize the rejection. The cost of components is estimated by considering the information from above steps from 1 to 5. The cost consists of material and labor charges and other specific and general indirect expense. So now we'll go for the route sheet. What is a route sheet? Route sheet is used to specify the several operations to be performed. The path, sequence of operations, the department in which each operation is to be performed, and the type of machine that is to be used in each case. So what is a route sheet? It is used to specify several operations to be performed, the path, sequence of operations, the department in which each operation is to be performed, and the type of machine that is to be used in each case. Route sheet indicates the material used, sequence of operation involved in the progress of material. Next, route sheet will provide a history of the progress of manufacturing process. Route sheet will check the subsequent steps of control and shop procedures. They register the progress of the parts or components from starting to completion of product and final delivery to the stores. They register the progress of parts or components from starting to completion of product and final delivery to the stores. So this is a typical route sheet. For example, the order number, the batch quantity, the date of issue will be written here, stores issue number, what are the material specification, what is the drawing number, component description is done here, and the work order number here, operation number. Next comes the operation number, department number. Next, shop machining, jigs and fixtures used if any, setup time, time for lot. Any remarks are there, they'll be writing in the sheet. This is a typical worksheet. Now we'll go for the operation card. After preparing route sheet for a particular order, PPC means production planning control splits up the job in different parts according to different operations as specified in route sheet. The work is assigned to the workers along with a card known as operation card or job card. This card gives the instructions for sequence of operations, time allowed, number of components to be manufactured, inspection details, and labor booking timings. This card also helps in finding out wages of operator. If an employee is employed on time rate basis after completion of the one operation, QC clearance is taken on that card and moved for next operation. Completed operation cards are sent to the cost department for incentive and wage payments. What is a operation card? After preparing route sheet for a particular work order, PPC splits up the job into different parts according to the different operations as specified in the route sheet. The work is assigned to the workers along with a card known as operation card or job card. This card gives the instructions for sequence of operations, time allowed, number of components to be manufactured, inspection details, labor booking timings. This card also helps in finding out the wages of operator, If an employee is employed on time rate basis, after completion of the one operation, QC clearance is taken on the card and moved for next operation. Completed operation cards are sent to the cost department for incentive and wage payments. Typical operation code looks like this: work order, component description, drawing number, batch quantity, date of issue and issue number. Here, operation number, description, machine shop, and then the number, setup time and operation time. Then here, date, quantity offered, quantity accepted, quantity rejected, and what is the remarks, if any. So till now, what I have told, what is routing, what is routing procedure, what is a route sheet and operational card. I just want to give a recap of all this once again so that you'll remember easily. Routing may be defined as selection of path. Routing may be defined as selection of path which each part of the product will follow while being transformed from raw materials to finished products. Path of the product will also give the sequence of operation to be adopted while being manufactured. In other words, routing means determination of most advantageous path to be followed from department to department and machine to machine till raw material gets its final shape. Routing is a technique which involves the analysis of type of work to be done on product or its parts, operation required to do the work, sequence of operations required, where the work will be done, a proper classification about the personnel required, and the machine for doing the work. For effective control of a well-managed industry with standard conditions, the routing plays an important role so as to get the best results obtained from available plant capacity. Thus, routing provides the basis for scheduling, dispatching, and follow-up. Routing in mass production industries does not pose any problem because of the product type of layout, where all the machines are laid as per the sequence of operations required to be performed on the components, whereas in batch production or job production industries, every time the job is new, therefore the route sheet is to be prepared for every job, and this involves a greater amount of work and further expensive. Now comes the now comes the routing. Now comes the routing procedure. Routing procedure. The product. What is the routing procedure? What is the routing procedure? Routing procedure. Uh, the product and its parts are analyzed to determine the parts to be manufactured and the parts to be purchased and make. Now we'll just see what is a routing procedure. For a new product, the routing procedure is as follows. The product and its parts are analyzed to determine the parts to be manufactured and the parts to be purchased. Make or buy decisions are made. The parts to be manufactured. Now comes the routing procedure. The product and its parts are analyzed to determine the parts to be manufactured and the parts to be purchased. Make or buy decisions are made. The parts to be manufactured are analyzed to determine the type, specifications, quantity, and quality of materials required. The product is analyzed to determine possible methods of manufacture and selection of the best method. Manufacturing operations are determined with a sequence to produce the product. Economic lot size of production is determined. Scrap factor at each stage of production is determined. Cost of the product is determined. Manufacturing forms like production order, job order, Route sheets, move orders, inspection cards, toolkits, etc. are filled. Next comes the route sheet. What is a route sheet? Route sheet is used to specify the several operations to be performed, their path, sequence of operations, department in which each operation is to be performed, and the type of machine that is to be used in each case. Route sheets check the subsequent steps of control and shop procedures. They register the progress of parts or components from starting to completion of product and final delivery to the stores. So a typical route sheets resemble like this, as I told: work order, what is a batch quantity, what is a batch quantity, next component description, drawing number, material specifications, date of issue, store issue, next jigs and fixtures if any, setup time, time for lot, etc. Next, operation card. After preparing route sheet for particular work order, production planning and control splits up the job in different parts according to different operations as specified in route sheet. The work is assigned to the workers along with a card known as operation card or job card. Typical operation card is shown like this. This card gives instructions for sequence of operations, time allowed, number of components to be manufactured, inspection details, and labor booking timings. This card also helps in finding out the wages of operator if an employer is employed on time rate basis. After completion of the one, quality clearance is taken on that card and moved for next operation. Completed operation cards are sent to the cost department for incentive and wage payments. So work order number, batch quantity, date of issue, issue number, component description, drawing number, and then description, machine shop, what is the machine shop, machine number, setup time, quantity required, quantity accepted, quantity rejected, etc. Next comes the scheduling. Next phase of production control is scheduling. Next phase of production control is scheduling, which involves assignment of starting and ending times, while routing determines where the work should be done. Scheduling determines when the work should be done. Scheduling is defined as determination of time that should be required to perform each operation and also time necessary to perform entire series as routed, making allowances for all factors concerned. Scheduling involves preparation of timetable, which would indicate total time needed for manufacturing a product and also time expected to be spent on each machine and process. Scheduling determines capacity of machines, allows setup and idle times, maintenance time, breakdown time. What is scheduling? The next phase of production control is scheduling, which involves assignment of starting and ending times. While routing will determine where the work should be done, scheduling determines when the work should be done. Scheduling is defined as determination of time that should be required to perform each operation and also time necessary to perform the entire series as routed, making allowances for all factors concerned. Scheduling involves preparation of timetable, which would indicate total time needed for manufacturing a product and also time expected to be spent on each machine process. Scheduling determines capacity of machines, allows setup and idle times, maintenance time, and breakdown time. Scheduling fixes the time for starting and stopping the operation, decides when and what sequence of work will be taken up. It is similar to a railway timetable. Programs the entire plant activities. Overall scheduling of plant is done by master scheduling technique. In detailed scheduling of each machine is done by following techniques: perpetual schedule, order schedule, loading by schedule period, commercial devices. See, what is scheduling? Overall scheduling of plant is done by scheduling technique. In detail, scheduling of each machine is done by following techniques: perpetual schedule, order schedule, loading by schedule period, commercial devices, etc. Generally, schedules are of two types: master schedule and manufacturing schedule. Now we'll just discuss what is the master schedule. Scheduling normally starts with a master schedule. A master schedule resembles central office. A master schedule resembles central office which possesses information about all the orders in hand. Master schedule is a weekly breakdown of the production requirements. The total capacity in a week is of 100 hours of work in the foundry shop. As the orders are received depending upon the delivery dates, they are marked on the master schedule. When the shop capacity is full for the present week, the newly acquired orders are carried over to the next week and so on. The master schedule is thus updated continuously. It depicts a running total of the production requirements and shows the work ahead, yet to be completed. Master schedule is actually the basis for all the subsequent scheduling techniques. So, after framing the overall picture of production requirements through a master schedule chart, the detailed schedules are thought of and made for each component and sub-assemblies so that all the parts are available at the time of assembly. Some of the techniques besides master schedule employed for scheduling purpose are perpetual schedule and order schedule. Like master scheduling, it is also simple and easy to understand. It will involve less cost and can be maintained by clerical staff. But the information which it provides is very gross and at the same time it's not clear from the chart. When the work will take place, it shows information about workload or distribution for each section for the particular work order. Perpetual scheduling is done based on number of orders in hand. Making of perpetual schedule involves two types: preparation of load analysis sheet from the orders in hand. The total load against each section is added up, and knowing the weekly capacity of a section, the number of weeks loaded against each department is calculated, plotted on a Gantt load chart. Next comes the order schedule. Now we have seen the perpetual schedule. What is perpetual scheduling? Shows about workload or distribution for each section for the particular work order. It is done based on number of orders in hand. Order scheduling. It is most elaborate technique. Time is marked horizontally and vertical axis shows the particular facility, that is some machines. The information required to generate an order schedule is regarding the number of parts to be manufactured, name of the machines, the setup times, total production time, and the date of completion of the order. The scheduling is started by placing the last operation at the date of completion and then working backwards. For example, if order X takes 3 days to complete, it is to be delivered to the customer on 7th January. The work will be started on 5th January. So this is about the order scheduling. Order scheduling shows the workload of facility or work as per the time, the data regarding number of parts to be manufactured, number of machines, the setup times, total production time, and date of completion of order is essential. Another one is the manufacturing. Manufacturing or shop schedule. Manufacturing of or shop schedule. After preparing schedule, shop schedules are prepared. It assigns a definite period of time to a particular shop for manufacturing products in required quality. It also reflects the information regarding machine breakdown, tools, shortages, material storage, earliest completion dates, and priority of the component. Weekly manpower requirements are based on the manufacturing schedules. What is dispatching? Dispatch function executes planning function. It is concerned with getting work started. Dispatching ensures that plans are properly implemented. It is the physical handling over of a manufacturing order to the operating facility through the release of orders and instructions in accordance with a previously developed plan of activity established by scheduling section of the production planning and control department. Dispatcher transmits order to various shops. Dispatch function determines by whom the job shall be done and it coordinates production. It is the key of a production communication system. It creates direct link between production and sales. A dispatcher is familiar with productive capacity of each equipment. He always keeps an eye over the progress of orders which move at different speeds on different routes. What is dispatching? Dispatching is an execute. I just want to tell again what is dispatching. Dispatch function executes planning function. It is concerned with getting the work done, work started. Dispatching ensures the plans are properly implemented. It is a physical handling over of a manufacturing order to the operating facility through release of orders and instructions in accordance with a previously developed plan of activity established by scheduling section of the production planning and control. Dispatcher transmits orders to various shops. Dispatch function determines by whom the job shall be done and it coordinates production. It is a key point of a production system. It creates direct link between production and sales. A dispatcher is familiar with the productive capacity of each equipment. He always keeps an eye over the progress of orders which move at different speeds on different routes. So, what is dispatching? Dispatching gives the instruction to the worker to start the job. As per the planning and scheduling, the work should be get started, ensures the commencement of work as per the plan established. Dispatching. Dispatching executes the planning function. Dispatcher should be familiar with production capacities of each machine. Dispatching is of two types, centralized dispatching and decentralized dispatching. So, now we'll see what are the functions of dispatching. Assignment of work to individual man, machine, or workplace is a function. Release necessary orders and production forms. Authorize for issue of materials, tools, jigs, fixtures, gauges, dies for various jobs. Required material or authorized to move from stores or from operation to operation. Issue machine loading and schedule charts, route charts, and other necessary instructions and forms to be filled up. To issue inspection orders stating the type of inspections required at various stages, to issue job orders authorizing operations in accordance with the planned schedule, issue of time tickets, drawings, instruction cards, and other necessary informations, issue necessary formats to exercise production control. These are all the functions of dispatching. I just want to recap the dispatching function. Dispatch function executes planning function. It is concerned with getting the work started. Dispatching ensures that the plans are properly implemented. It is a physical handling over of a manufacturing order to the operating facility through the release of orders and instructions in accordance with a previously developed plan of activity established by the scheduling section of the production planning and control department. Dispatcher transmits orders to the various shops. Dispatch function determines by whom the job shall be made. It coordinates production. It is the key point of a production communication system. It creates direct link between production and sales. A dispatcher is familiar with productive capacity of each equipment. He always keeps an eye over the progress of orders, which move at different speeds on different routes. What are the functions of dispatching? Assignment of work to individual men, machine, or workplace, release necessary orders and production forms, authorize for issue of materials, tools, jigs, fixtures, gauges, dies for various jobs, required material or authorized to move from stores or from operation to operation, issue machine loading and schedule charts, route sheets and other necessary instructions and forms to be filled, to issue inspection orders stating the type of inspections required at various stages, to issue job orders authorizing operations in accordance with the planned schedule, issue of time tickets, drawings, instruction cards, and other necessary information, issue necessary formats to exercise production control. These are all the functions of dispatch. Now we'll just see what is a dispatch procedure. The product is broken into different components and components into different operations. Various steps for dispatch procedure are: first one is store issue order, next one is the tool order, third one is the job order, next comes the time ticket, and next comes the inspection order and move order. Store issue order. Authorized stores to deliver required raw material. Tool order. Authorized tool store to release necessary tools. The tools can be collected by the tool room attendant. Job order. Instruct the worker to proceed with the operation. Time ticket. It records the beginning and ending of the operations and form the basis for workers' pay. Inspection order. Notify the inspectors to carry out necessary inspections and report the quality of the component. Move order. Authorize the movement of materials and components from one facility to another for another operations. Yes. Now I just want to recap what is the functions of dispatching. The important functions of dispatching are: assignment of work to individual men, machines, or workplace, release necessary orders and production forms, authorize for issue of materials, tools, jigs, fixtures, gauges, and dies for various jobs, required material or authorized to move from stores or from operation to operation, issue machine loading and schedule charts, route sheets, and other necessary instructions and forms to be filled, to issue inspection orders stating the type of inspections required at various stages, to issue job orders authorizing operations in accordance with the planned schedule, issue of time tickets, drawings, instruction cards, and other necessary informations, issue necessary formats to exercise the production control. Now I just want to give a recap about the dispatch procedure. The product is broken into different components and different components into operations. The various steps of dispatch procedure for each operation are in sequence. Stores issue order. First, authorize stores to deliver required raw material. Next comes the tool order. Authorize tool store to release the necessary tools. The tools can be collected by the tool room attendant. Job order. Instruct the worker to proceed with the operation. Time ticket. It records the beginning and ending time of the operations and forms the basis for workers' pay. Inspection order. Notify the inspectors to carry out necessary inspections and report the quality of the component. Move order. Authorize the movement of materials and components from one facility to another for further operations. These are all the dispatch procedure steps. So, summary. In this class, we have learned about I've done a recap of production planning and control, relationship with other departments, next need for planning, advantages, and today I have discussed about routing. Routing will decide the sequence of operations performed over the raw materials. Scheduling fix the starting and ending times of each operation. Dispatching concerns with the commencement of work as per the plan established. There are two methods of dispatching: centralized dispatching and decentralized dispatching. So, with this, I just want to hope you have all understood. Thank you, students.